Hey, good morning, and welcome to another live stream from Kyrish Truck Centers. We are excited to be partnering with some of the greatest vendors from around the country, that leading edge in technology. And we want to add real value to you as the truck owner, as a fleet manager, as a mechanic. We want to bring you education that helps you run your business right now. And so that's why I'm excited that we're joined by Donaldson Filtration today. And with me, I have Lori Lehner and Ed Dorian. Um, Guys, how you doing?
Great. Glad to be here, Matt.
Awesome. Yeah.
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, Lori, why don't you tell me a little bit about Donaldson Filtration?
I'd love to. So, Frank Donaldson started Donaldson Company over 100 years ago by solving a customer's problem with his tractor, and it was the air filtration that he was having trouble with. And, we've been with a company for over 100 years, and filtration is what we do, even to this day. You're probably touched by Donaldson filters in your everyday life and have no idea. So, whether it's food production, manufacturing, if it's in the headlamps on your car, if it's in hearing aids, and in this crazy time that we're in right now, it's maybe even the vent on your disinfectant bottle. Lots of places you find Donaldson filters.
Wow. On a disinfectant bottle. That's impressive.
Yes, yes. So we work on the toughest filtration problems there are. And when we find a great solution to a problem, we leverage that across our entire company. And because of that, you can really be confident that if you buy aftermarket filters with the Donaldson label on them, that you are getting the technology, the manufacturing, the quality systems that always around the world trust us with every day.
Wow. So from 1915, Donaldson's been
Yeah.
around, had a problem out in the field, found a solution. So that's over 100 years of experience, 105 years to be exact. So
Yeah.
with that much experience, let's just take one, I guess. What is one thing that you would recommend for truck
Oh,
owners?
easy. Stop changing your air filters so much. People change their air filters way too often. And, one of the things that people don't understand is just how much dust an air filter can actually hold. So, my partner Gabriel and I made a video one day and to kind of help demonstrate this. So, if you watch this dial on the lower right corner, look how slowly it moves at first, and not until the end does it move quickly. And then the other thing I want you to watch is right here in the middle is a restriction indicator light. Look how long it takes for that light to come on, and look how much of the air cleaner inlet is already blocked off. You can see a lot of the air cleaner is already blocked off, and it's now
Yeah.
just moving quickly.
Wow.
I think that that's the main reason people don't trust restriction indicators is they expect them to move gradually and then, slowly all through the life of the air filter, but it really doesn't trigger until the end when it moves quickly at the end. So I think that's the biggest reason people don't trust them.
Okay. Well, that kind of seems like counterintuitive, because not to change it as often. Usually you think, I guess some people change it on certain intervals, or, when they do a PM.
Yeah.
So, so restriction indicators, how important are those?
Yeah, well, here's another thing that people often don't realize about air filters is you actually want dirt on your air filter. Dust on your air filter makes it work better. One of the things that we often say is dust filters dust better than filters filter dust. So you
Hmm.
actually want them to be dirty.
Okay.
So, if you really want the best engine protection, change by restriction. And there's lots of reasons to do that. For one thing, every time you take that filter out, you are exposing that engine to a little bit of dust. And so if you change that filter more often than you need to, you let more dust in more often than you need to. The second thing is that a new filter is the least efficient filter. So remember, you want that filter to be a little bit dirty to get your best performance and your best engine protection.
Okay.
And it just takes a little tiny bit of dust to cause damage to a diesel engine. So, 1 gram per horsepower is enough to cause damage to bearings, turbos, and even eventually the DPFs. So, protecting that's a must. And even if you're changing by a maintenance schedule and restriction indication doesn't work for you, having the best quality air filter will really make a difference because you want to protect that engine. Of just a few dollars more for a better engine air filter will save you money in the long run. Best
Yeah.
total cost of ownership.
Okay. So we've talked about air filters, and so you're saying that for like a 50, 60, $75 air filter, give or take,
Yeah.
uh, you mentioned savings on DPFs. You've mentioned, that affects the turbo, the entire engine. I know works kits, they're not cheap. Replacing an
Yeah.
engine, that's not cheap. So you're saying that for like a 50, $60 air filter, you could actually improve the quality, the total cost of ownership, and actually save money in the long run. So this will help truck owners, fleet managers, mechanics know how to do the right thing.
Yes.
That's just talking about the air filter. So, which is not what Donaldson is, just air filters. That you guys do filter indicators, pre-filters, and what else does Donaldson like encompass? You mentioned they do quite a bit in different markets. We're in the transportation market here at Kyrish Truck Centers, but just kind of give us a bigger picture, not just air filters, but
Sure.
tell us
Yeah.
a little bit more.
We do all kinds of filters. So if you just think about the truck market, think about the air filter, the coolant filters, the lube filters, the fuel filters. Donaldson actually makes the best fuel filters in the world, and fuel injectors are not cheap. They are costly to replace. And have you ever heard, Matt? Have you ever heard anybody say those new fuel injectors just don't last as long?
I have not.
So actually, that's something we hear in training when I conduct training is they'll say, "Oh, those they don't last as long." Actually,
Mm,
if you use great fuel filters, they will last the expected time that you want them to. So when you do the big rebuild after 1 million miles, that's when you should be thinking about changing your fuel injectors, not
yeah.
a quarter of the way through that. So filtration is just really important. And people think that a filter is a place that you have to spend money that's kind of a pain, right? Nobody really wants to pay for a filter,
Right.
but think about what you're protecting. And then as far as trucks go too, don't forget the work trucks. So the work trucks have the hydraulic filters on the back, and for those people that are protecting hydraulic components, those are really expensive components. So
Mhm.
use quality filtration for that, especially synthetic filters. You really It's a better choice to use synthetic over cellulose in a hydraulic application.
Wow. So, I know I'm throwing you some extra questions and
That's all
curveballs,
right.
but what would you recommend? Not just, not changing your air filter, but what are some things that you may recommend for that truck owner that's out there? How else can Donaldson filtration or just proper filtration really help? We mentioned going to the 1 million mile mark
Mhm.
and doing an engine rebuild, but um, you know, fuel filters, hydraulic filters, oil filters. I know that there's a lot that goes into that, and just sharing from my experience as one of the outside salesmen for Kyrish Truck Centers. I have a lot of refuse customers, a lot of
Oh,
great
yes.
refuse companies here, and they love the Donaldson product. And you think about it; those guys, they're in all kinds of elements. They're on the highway, they're in the middle of
Yeah.
dusty fields everywhere, and they choose Donaldson because they know it's a quality filter and that it works. And you think about how many trucks these fleets encompass and what they have, um, all the way from hydraulic and everything else. So
Mhm.
that's fantastic. But what about like just I guess you could say the smaller guy, that doesn't have 150 trucks in his fleet and all that. What would help them? What would make sense for this
You know,
for good filters?
the owner operators are the ones that really benefit, right?
Mhm.
Because they need to keep that engine running and that truck in good shape for a long time. Most of the owner operators I know have trucks that last them years. They're not changing them every 2 to 3 years. So that's a operator that can really benefit by using good air filtration, which will keep the engine protected, which will keep the lube oil cleaner, and then lube filtration to clean it up even more. So, and then the fuel filters, especially if they have a newer truck, because as we all know, the EPA regulations have changed. And with the new high pressure common rail engines, the lift pumps and the fuel injectors are so much more sensitive than they used to be.
Wow.
So they can really benefit by using quality filtration.
Awesome. So, we're I'm representing Kyrish Truck Centers. You guys are obviously representing Donaldson Filtration, excuse me. And we're from Houston all the way down to the Valley, to Temple, all over the state of Texas. So, how can we know more? What's one way that we can figure
Oh,
out more things about if Donaldson makes sense? What can we do?
great question. So I have some great resources for you. One is the Donaldson Filters YouTube channel. There are several videos about how to properly service a filter, because if you put in a great filter, but you don't service it correctly, it doesn't offer the engine protection you're expecting or the hydraulic protection that you're expecting. So there's great videos out there on some best practices, as well as our Donaldson shop.donaldson.com. If you want to cross a filter or find out specs on a filter, that's a great place to look. And if you want to learn more about filtration in general, there's the donaldson.com website. And if you
Okay.
are a filter nerd like I am and want to learn more about the filters that Donaldson does in general, that's a great place to look. You can find out about defense, the filters that we do for tanks and rotorcraft and manufacturing plants and food, and all different kinds of places that you can find those Donaldson filters.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's one thing I guess we didn't really talk about, but you guys have a phenomenal cross-reference site. I use it, I know, once or twice a week, if not more. But I mean, I'm always in there because you guys give specs on each filter. You even say if you can't use this one, you may want to use this, a different line, maybe an upgrade option to a certain filter. And it has been really beneficial to me as a salesman, but also to my customers, because I can give them options in their filtration. You guys offer different microns in certain filters and maybe an upgraded filter to serve them better. And so I love your website. It's great. The
Oh,
cross-reference
thank
material
you.
there is just fantastic. So since we mentioned it and we're talking about it, I figured I'd give you the kudos on that. So
I
um,
appreciate that. I do
yeah.
have one more pro tip for you. Did
Okay.
you know that when you go to a website, and this is any website, that you can save it to your home screen? So if you save to your home screen, then it looks like an app on the home screen of your cell phone. And so when we get moving again, and if you're out in the field or you're someplace that you're not by a computer, then you can access that information quickly from your cell phone.
Awesome. That's great.
Matt,
Um, Go
I'm
ahead.
going to let Ed talk about some of the other support that we have for
Okay. Yeah,
Donaldson
Ed, you've been
Company.
pretty quiet
Sure.
over there, but I know Lori's had the floor. So
Yeah, that's fine. I'm Ed Dorian. I'm one of the local territory managers. We have several of them running around the United States. We have lots of support behind us, from technical inside sales to regional sales people inside. We've also got engineers. So we want to find a solution to your problem and make sure that we're taking care of the customer. We've also got a 1-800 number that you can call in, and they answer the phone probably within 3 to 6 seconds. So we have that, and then we have the live chat feature. When you go to shopdonaldson.com, there's a chat button at the bottom right hand corner, and there's someone always to chat with if you've got questions that you need help with.
awesome. Thank you. Well, speaking of questions and helping people, we do want to offer you guys to give us a comment on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching this from. And, by the way, if you are out there, if you are looking, if you're watching this live stream, I can see some people that are on there. Leave us a comment. Tell us where you're watching from? Are you watching on Facebook, YouTube? Are you in the field right now, under a truck on a creeper? Let us know. We want to serve you as best as we can. And speaking of a good way to do that is, KYRA Truck Centers also has an app. It's something that we've recently launched, and we're growing it every day. But you can actually use this while you're out in the field. We have roadside service, parts service. You can actually find a store near you, and it's something that we're really excited about. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the comment section, either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll get those answered for you. But there's also a coupon right now. We're talking about Donaldson Filtration, but we also do have a promotion going for AC parts. We know that it's starting to heat up out there, and trucks are still running. The transportation business has been going, even though things may be shut down for COVID. We're still up and running, and so I know that some of your mechanics or some of your drivers may come in saying, "Hey, it's too hot. We still need some AC." So we're trying to do that for you at Kyrish Truck Centers. But anyway, I don't see any comments coming in or questions. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the Kyrish Truck Center live stream, where we're trying to bring you solutions that fit your fleet. We want to educate you, and we want to bring you things that are going to help you manage your fleet well, to help you lower the cost of ownership. And one of the ways that we can do that, as we learned today, is by getting a great quality filter by one of the leading filtration companies in the world. Donaldson Filtration does a phenomenal job with their technology, with how they teach, and just backing up their filters. We learned about Donaldson Dynamic, their online catalog, their cross-reference page, and just their amazing website. And Lori, I thank you so much for what you've taught us today. This has been fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Ed, thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt, for having us. We enjoyed it.
Yeah. And to get a quote on this, guys, you can contact your local salesman at the Kyrish Truck Center store. Doesn't have to be Austin. I'm based out of the Austin location. And so you can just send a quote. You can request a quote by calling the store, or you can contact your salesman, and we would be happy to get you a quote. If you don't have a salesman, just contact the store, your local branch. But until next time, we see some. Sorry, we had a question pop in real quick, Lori. Let's go ahead and ask that. It says, does Donaldson offer any products to fuel filters before it gets on board your truck?
Yes. Great question. For those of you that control your own fuel and your own lube, we have a line of products called bulk filtration or clean solutions. And that is a great way to prevent the dirt from even getting into your vehicle to begin with. Wow. And it's definitely an option. Here's just one example. How many times have you seen a diesel tank in the back of a pickup truck going down the road with a getting ready to dispense fuel into a piece of equipment out in the field? Right. You know that dirt in that tank is not having a chance to settle to the bottom, and that it's being dispensed right into that vehicle. So putting just a little blue filter can on that is a great way to protect that equipment.
So you guys actually have a solution for that?
Yes.
The entire. Yes. So is it the entire assembly piece? We can add the filter head and everything?
Yes. And to learn more about that, go to cleansolutions.com. mycleandiesel.com.
mycleandiesel.com. I'll put that on the screen. Awesome. And thank you so much. Let's see. mycleandiesel.com. All right. Correct. Go there. You can figure out those solutions. And like Lori was saying, I know that those trucks aren't going down a smooth paved road or anything like that. Like, it's usually bumpy, rocky, covered in all kinds of stuff. And so I know, like she said, the sediments aren't being given a chance to settle to the bottom. So who knows what you're pumping into your tanks.
Yeah.
You can catch it on the way out, but it's better to catch it on the way in as well. So thank you for your comment. I appreciate that and that question. Don't see anything else coming in. A couple great jobs and thumbs up and everything. And hey, listen, if you're still here, give us a couple hearts on Facebook or a like on YouTube. Definitely check out Donaldson Filtration. Go to donaldson.com where you can see all these solutions and everything. But until next time, guys, thank you so much. Lori and Ed, thanks again for coming on and being a part of the Kyrish Truck Center live stream. We look forward to doing more with you guys.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.